Welcome to the Daily Dish with Leanne Ely. This is a show about you, your life, and the vibrancy you want. Join us for daily motivation, wise women's tips, and more as we collectively gather together and move the needle in our lives, heart, mind, body, and soul. Now, here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
We're here. How about that? We keep showing up, and so do you, and I so appreciate that. Jackie, it's good to see you. Flynn, Nancy, Helen, Darla's in the house. Good job. Noreen was here first thing, holding down the fort for everyone to get here. I love it. Jerry, good to see you. Angie, I'm glad you're here. You know, we're going to go through some deep stuff today. You ready to get into those weeds? I'm telling you, I love this whole idea of talking about influence because I believe with all of my heart that we don't think about what's influencing us. We really don't. And I believe that if we understand that everything is influential, including our body chemistry, then we can move forward because that knowledge is power. Ever notice that? Knowledge is power. Well, if you're new to the Daily Dish Show, this is our Daily Dish Show where we are bringing women back to vibrancy in their lives, heart, mind, body, and soul. Hi, Susan Ellis. Good to see you. That's what we do here. And it's fun. We have quotes of the week. We have a special of the week. We have a topic of the week. And we get all these fine ladies joining us every single day. Lucy's here. Yay. I'm glad you got your internet back. Take a peek, see at this quote of the week, by the way. You can start out with nothing, and out of nothing, and out of no way, a way will be made. That sounds like preaching to me. What do you think? Isn't it so true? Sounds like preaching. Preach it in a good way. This is the kind of preaching we need to be hearing about. This is the kind of thing that we need to know all about because it's never as just pointless as we think it is it? Hi, Jocelyn. I'm so glad you're here. It isn't. There's always a way. Diana Nyad proved that at 64 years old by going from shore to shore and without a sharp cage, getting stung by jellyfish. She didn't give up. Grit runs through that woman's veins. And we might not all be Diana Nyads, but we can all have a certain amount of grit in our veins. Am I right? Pinky's up on that one. Brenda, I'm glad to see you. Kimberline, you too. So good to have you all here. We have, by the way, one little, let's call it a club. It is a club, and it is the people who have made a decision to get our text messages. There's the number right there. Do you see that? You text the word join to 855-960-3720, and it's all right here under here in this little banner. Do this while you're listening to the show. Let me tell you why. We haven't started it yet, but when it starts, you are going to be sending me in emails saying, thanks for that. Because you know how the Bonanza and the galas and we have such great deals and what have you. Well, this is where we're going to do the pop-up sales, y'all, where it's going to be Bonanza-like. It's going to be gala-like, and it's going to be just, you want it. I know you do. So check that out. Just go right there. It's on your phone. It will be delivered to you in text message only. So get with the program. Doris knows. Oh my goodness. So I'm excited about all of that. And as you know, we've got 8 million things. You can find us anywhere on the internet. We're in all the channels. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, where else? Pinterest, here, of course. You can find us. Lynn knows, Jeanette knows, don't you? Corliss, I know you know too. But anyway, follow us all over there. We got all kinds of interesting things there, and you're going to want to check it out. I have a new playlist of TikTok videos that are coming out. You're not going to see them anywhere else. So you want to do that. Martha's here. Hey, give it up for Martha. Oh my gosh. And YouTube. Sometimes half of you are on YouTube and half of you are on Facebook. And that's cool. You know, we use this StreamYard. It's a platform that helps us integrate both in there so it doesn't mess up the delivery. So shall we say. Of the system. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. obviously, we have book like the Ultimate Mix book. You can find this, and it's going to help you to make mixes so you can put and labels that go with it. Look at that. This is a recipe for garlic lime chicken. So you can just season your chicken like this and make the rest of the recipe. So easy. Hi, Diane. It is incredible. So you find all of that. You're going to find all kinds of stuff everywhere. But just to let you know, we're here to support you as well. And we appreciate it when you send in your questions, because Friday is always Q&A, unless no questions arrive, of course. But if you have a question, you have a nutrition question, a cooking question, do send it in to support@savingdinner.com. And in that subject line, question for Leanne on Friday. It will get to me. I'll be able to look at it, see if I need to do any research on it so I can best support you. And we answer them all on Friday and Friday's show. So I want you there for that. What else do I have to tell you? I believe that's it. We have the mix book, like I said, savingdinner.com/mix. And it comes with all these recipes, plus the labels for the spice jars, which I think are just adorable. Can you imagine if these were all done together and you had them in a box with maybe a little extra seasoning mix in the Ziploc bags, and this great big book that's going to show everybody how to do this. I mean, what an incredible gift this would be to, especially a young newlywed or someone who's freshly on their own. It'd be a great gift and a very supportive, highly supportive one. Yes, and do not forget about the special of the week. Here's what you want to know, and boy, do I need this one. Well, first of all, it's our skincare trio. This is what it looks like. And our skincare trio has our deep moisture cream for your face. It also has the eye, neck, and lip cream, which is a little bit more emollient and very greasy for those fine lines right around here. And it has the deep moisture serum, which, by the way, I am just going absolutely gonzo over because of the dry weather. Well, in our special this week, if you buy the trio, we're going to send you an extra serum. That's a screaming deal. savingdinner.com/show to go get that. And you're smart to get it. Even if you bought our skincare special during the bonanza, even if you already have stuff, it's still a screaming deal. This extra serum, it's not like it's going to rot, going on there. Come on. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Inner Circle is happening in January. We don't have the liftoff dates yet. We will be talking a lot more about this as we come up. But if you want to be on the list, go to savingdinner.com/circle for all the information. It's incredible. This is how you lift up and level up to the next thing that you want to do in your life. And we're going to kind of be talking about, we've been talking about that all week, really, haven't we? Also, I wanted to mention, Darla says she loves the skincare. Of course you do. I know you do. I'm so glad. It's so good. And I was just telling Jenny, I mean, I gotta get these two back upstairs. I just ran out this morning. When it just starts going out with air, that's when you're like, give me more. Fortunately, I'm privy to a little bit more, so don't run out. That's what I want to say. Hello, Alaya. Pretty name. Greetings from Russia. Glad to have you here. All Christmas menus and anything that you might need, savingdinner.com/Christmas. We've got it all. I tell you, we support you in what it is that you're trying to do with your family. Hi, Marianne. We want to make sure that you feel fully supported. Mary Ann is also a skincare lover. Look at that. Love the skincare. Use it daily. Me too. I use it first thing in the morning, last thing at night. So, keeps the skin looking good and makes it feel good too. That's a big deal. So this whole week, did I cover everything? I think I did. Oh, sprint. Don't forget about the sprint. We start on Monday. It's our last sprint. If you need a guide, if you want to go through the sprint webinar again and just to kind of get a refresher, go to savingdinner.com/sprint. I love it. Helen says she loves it too. And Vanessa's in the house, so we can start. Hey, Vanessa. All right, so this was kind of something that just jarred me. Yesterday, we talked yesterday and Tuesday really about the power and the influence of our words. And we understand that the influence of our words are always going to, they're always going to come back on us. But I don't think we really truly understand the powerful way they influence even our body chemistry. Everything about our words is basically dictation on what we should do next. And it tells our bodies, it tells our brains how we should react to something. So, those negative body chemicals that come on us, that like too much cortisol or whatever it is that we stimulate in our body, often come from things that we're thinking about. Truly. And we get ourselves all bent out of shape, and we start looking for evidence always to support the things that we're saying, whether it's good or bad. That's what our brains do. That's a natural thing. So I was thinking about how the influence of words and how the influence of why is it then that we put off the very things that we say that we want? Anybody know about what I'm talking about here? Hey, Margot and Carol, you know what I'm talking about, right? How about this? When you think about, I want X, Y, and Z in my life, and then you don't go after it. You ever wonder why? Oftentimes the negative self-talk comes in, well, I'm too lazy, I don't get it, or I need to do more research, or there's a whole bunch of stuff connected with it. But when we put off our lives because we don't think we deserve it, that's a lot of times what comes in. We don't think we're worth it, or we don't think we won't be worth it until we reach X, right? Until we get to that goal, whatever your fill in the blank mystery goal is. For me, I go back to this, and I talk a lot about this because these were times in my life that were breaking points. It could have gone one way or the other, but there were times where, the suffering became so great. We see ourselves through the lens, I think, of not being enough. We don't believe we're enough until we're a certain size. We don't believe we're enough until we have achieved a certain something. This is why I was wearing a nursing bra, in my, 50, 60 pounds overweightness. I didn't believe I was enough to have a real live bra. I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know what size I was. I didn't want to know any of this stuff. I didn't believe that I was enough until I got to that place. And until that point, I hid. I hid from photos. I hid from opportunities. I remember a time where I was hired. This is the truth. This is 2000. Oh, I'm going to say 2001, 2002. And I had my radio show in the Christian radio show. It was called Heart of a Woman. And it was all over Southern California. It was a big show. And every day from 2 to 3 p.m., it was old fashioned radio show. I had a producer and everything. I mean, like real. It wasn't, it wasn't on how they all are now. It was way before podcasts. But I just remember I was hired to do this whole, I had to go to New York and do this whole, what they called it, a satellite media tour. And you have to sit in this one spot and answer all these questions and on the radio. And then you have to do it in front of a bunch of food or whatever, whatever the sponsors are doing. And I had to do healthy breakfast choices. And I said, well, I'm not going to stand in front of a bunch of garbage. Even though I was at that point, I was probably about 237, 237. I still understood about healthy. And so I had there was a conundrum there because fat nutritionist, right? I mean, who's going to believe you? And I remember going in the elevator, and we're in Rockefeller Center, right? Going in the elevator, and the guy saying, I was in my suit, I was all dressed up, I had my hair done, professional makeup done, everything. And they said, well, when's the talent going to arrive? And I remember I looked over at the guy and I said, I'm the talent. And he looked at me and he went, exactly like that, because fat nutritionist, right? I was the one going to be standing there. I was the one going to be doing all the stuff. That was me. And they got really good ratings and everything like that. But I remember how I felt. I mean, I'm so much so, how many years later am I telling you this story? I remember how it made me feel. Like I was overlooked because I didn't look a certain way. And through that lens, and here I was hired to do this. They were paying me gobs of money, flew me to New York, stayed in this gorgeous hotel, all of the things, right? But I still felt like the whole thing overshadowed me not being enough. I crash dieted before this thing. I remember the whole thing clearly. I wasn't enough because I wasn't the right size. I wasn't enough. Food Network called and said that they were interested in me, said I had the it factor, had everything else. What was missing? They didn't say it, but I knew what it was. I wasn't enough because I wasn't thin enough. And that's the thing that kept coming back. We see ourselves through this lens of not enough, and we allow all these other people to influence this not enoughness. That's the influence that we're under, is that we believe with all of our hearts that we're not enough for even a bra, that we're not enough to have the things that we want to have. And it's why we don't buy clothes that fit us properly. It's why we don't do things. It's why we don't participate in family photos. It's why we shrink back from everything that life has to offer us. So when you say, I'm not enough, not thin enough, not pretty enough, not strong enough, not financially secure enough, the list goes on, not young enough. That's another one. That's another big one in my arena right now. Not knowledgeable enough. Everybody else knows more. It's because you're in this game of comparing yourself to everyone else. You haven't yet gotten to the place of looking at yourself through the lens that the creator who made you and said, yes, you're enough. Yes, you're here. And yes, I want you here on purpose and for a purpose. And by the way, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Otherwise, why would I know the number of hairs on your head? Come on. Why would I know that? Why would I know that when this hair comes out, that's hair number 8,025 from your head? Why would I know that about you? So being under the influence of not enough is how we manage to live, though, lukewarm lives, of not taking chances, of not doing risky things, of just staying safely ensconced in our little living rooms with our Netflix and our phones and our, pantry full of cookies and chips and all kinds of garbage that continue to bring us down and enforce this notion of not being enough. See, I'm not enough. I'm just sitting here eating all this crap. I'm not enough. See, I'm all of this. I'm living a mediocre life, and this is what I've chosen. Almost in anger, almost putting your fist down. But I believe that there's a deep hunger in all of us, a deeper hunger than all of this garbage, than all of this not enoughness. I believe that the acceptance of ourselves is a hunger that's deep down within, and being able to accept ourselves exactly as we are and where we are right now today is the missing piece. I remember vividly my story. I've heard it. I'm not even going to mention it again, of getting that new bra, of trying on those clothes, of feeling good. And then when I saw, and when it clicked in, you know what I remember doing? I remember saying, I want those pants in this color, and this color. I want that shirt, that sweater, those bras, those matching panties. I want all of it. And in wild abandon, I just went absolutely crazy and left with big bags, big shopping bags, like you see on TV when they go on these big spending sprees. I did that. And it was not because the clothes were so great, because I felt freedom at that moment to accept myself, to be totally who I was, and to acknowledge that in the fact that I had these new clothes to wear, and not just trying to shimmy into something else and keep hoping and keep trying to struggling putting on this stupid nursing bra when my kids were teenagers. What does that all say? It all points to the fact that we're holding back living a life full of vibrancy because we don't believe we're enough until we reach this pinnacle. And I have to say, that is absolute crap. And you know what else I know, though? I know we all do it. In some term, in some factor or another, we shrink back from the life we truly want to live because of this notion that we're not enough until we reach fill in the blank. And I'll tell you, it's ever present. It's ever present, and it's still ever present in my life. It is. It keeps trying to rear its ever loving head into my life and trying to pop up and say, well, somebody younger is probably going to get that. Now, I had a lot of experiences where I thought I nailed something and got something and didn't, and found out a younger guy got, like, for example, was doing something with Crock-Pot and nailed it, had it, and they were, oh, we love you, da, da, da. NutriBullet, same thing. I had another thing with doing a TV show at CNN with Sanjay Gupta. Nailed it. And then it didn't happen. And who got the part? Who got the thing? It was always a 30-year-old guy or something. And so I had this big chip on my shoulder about ageism and sexism and all this other kind of garbage. But you know, at the end of the day, I believe the influence of not enough-ness is the thing that takes us down. It's not, it's not that. Yeah, there might be some influence of that, sure. There might be some, you do, Kimberline, oh my goodness. That's amazing. Kimberline remembers the Crock-Pot thing. That was a while ago. But I believe that that's the biggest obstacle in our lives is this not enoughness. Now, how that expresses itself and how it, comes about, it's the thing that holds us back from the life that we say that we want to live. It holds us back from the life that we say that we want to live. And you know what I believe it is? It's full on resistance. It's resistance because when we say, this is what I want, and then we don't go about doing it, maybe we do for 1 or 2 days, and then we just kind of, the whole thing goes to hell in a handbasket. And then we do it again, and then we do it again, shampoo, rinse, repeat. Why? Why is that happening? Well, I believe it's what's going on in your head. Have you noticed? It's a jungle in there. Seriously, it is a jungle. There is a lot of stuff in there. You've got beliefs from way back when. You've got trauma, experiences. You've got, what else do you have in there? You've got memories, and times where you failed that influence everything. Think about it. What's in there? It's a massive tangle. I think about, like the other day for Thanksgiving, I wanted to wear this gold, I had a green sweater on, and I wanted to wear this gold necklace that went with it. Pulled it out of my jewelry box. It was all tangled up. I didn't have time for that. So I just said, you know what? No necklace. No necklace this time. I'm good with that. But that's how it is with our minds. It is a tangle of stuff, and we get lost in those tangles. We don't have time for the tangles, so we just deal with the tangles and don't end up putting the necklace on at all. So the key to me when I look at this is to unknot the knots, obviously, and stay with it until you get the necklace untangled and you can wear it. But you've got to ask yourself some questions first. You got to ask yourself some questions. What is holding me back? What am I really hungry for? What do I really want? And is it enough to just stay as I am, or does something need to change? And the first big question, of course, is why do I want this thing? Why do I want this? When we start to ask ourselves this why question of why I want this, it's going to dig at you and say, okay, so start talking, right? You have to, now you have to produce the goods. Nietzsche said that he who has a why can endure any how, which I love. And I'm going to put on my wall in my little gym. Your how shows up, and your how is going to be supported by that big, fat, hot, burning desire for the why in the first place. And that's a core thing with us. That's our core decision-making thing. It's the thing that heats and powers the vibrancy that we want in our lives, period. It's the thing that does it. It's also an emotional attachment. This is, I think, really important to get behind that, because we could have vibrant vision boards for days but never look at them, never really look at them and get ourselves worked up on them. Well, with mine, I looked at it every single day and I looked at all the different things that were on it, but boy did I look at that one little picture on the left quadrant that was that water picture and had the dock on it and had the tree. That's the picture I looked at. That was the thing that lit me up and got me all sparky like, right? And I always say that was the start of where I am right now today. Find a way is right, Lucy, 100%. So we have to look at the power of the pursuit of what we want is what gives us the grit. And it gives us the way to find a way. It makes us stay with it, even when we don't want to. But we have to be powered by that emotional intensity and not be afraid of it. That emotional intensity is there on purpose. This is what gives our life meaning and substance and tastiness. It's the difference between tasting a piece of chicken that's just been sauteed up in a pan versus one that's been cooked with a little seasoning and some flavors and some butter and some mushrooms and whatever else in there. There's a difference between the two. This is what adds the flavor and the zest and the multi-layers and the yumminess to our lives, that emotional part of us. I think oftentimes we dispense with the emotion and we've learned to tap it down, as we've gone on, as we've grown up and what have you. We've learned to shut up and put up. But I say let's grab the emotional intensity that we feel about certain things and allow that to spark our why. Number 2 is we have to look at, what do I gain by getting this thing? What do I gain? Well, what if we made a list of all the benefits? I'll tell you, making those benefit lists and everything, those are things that you can look at again and again and again, and it will help you to understand what it is that you need. That's what you need to do. You'll understand what it is that you need to keep going. So here's some of the things that we need to do, though, is as we go through that list, we need to highlight those certain things that light us up. Again, our emotional connection helps us to, pro-con list, exactly, Terry. But our emotional connection to these things, those things that light us up, are the things that help carry the ball down the field. Because it gives meaning, it gives substance, it gives legs, it gives all of it. And that's why I said that in number 1, but I'm also saying it in number 2. That's why those benefit lists are so great. So when I'm telling you, like, for example, I had a new program I was offering, Inner Circle. When I tell you about Inner Circle, don't you want to know what the benefits are? Don't you? Okay, do you want to sign? It's a $300 program. Am I going to sign up for this program? I don't know. Let's see what's in it. You go through and you look at the benefit. Oh, okay, we're going to do that. Oh, we're going to have that. This is going to be fun. These are the things that light you up and say yes. I had 50 women who said yes to this program. Why did they say yes? Because it lit them up. What they were looking for matched the benefit program that was offered there. It wasn't just, hey, give me $300 for 12 weeks and I'll send you a book. It wasn't that at all. There was things involved in it. And I know that there were things that hit emotional buttons in these women, because this is my program that I developed over the emotional buttons that I have. Does that make sense to you? I think because we keep on that thing. But we have to look at the pleasure center of our brain. We don't want it lighting up over the stuff that's going to bring us down. We want it lighting us up for the things that are going to help us to make that switch, to make that change, to get the things in our lives that we want. Number 3, kind of eyes on the prize kind of a thing, right? Number 3 is, what do I lose by getting this? That's an important question, because sometimes that means things have to change. We don't think about that very often. And I'll tell you what, I coach a lot of women. Oh boy, do I coach a lot of women whose husbands push back hard. They don't like it. They don't want you to change. They want you to stay the same. Don't take away my, fill in the blank, whatever it is. They want their things to stay the same. They don't want you to change their food. They don't want you to change your food either, because they want to do their things. They don't want to go to a restaurant and have you order a steak and broccoli, right? They want things to stay the same. So, anytime we change, there's always going to be naturally a little pushback, even if it's going from something really negative to something new. New and different is risky, and your brain always weighs in and says, no, don't do it. But we also get a dopamine hit when we do something positive for ourselves and we start making those changes. And that's why we're always kitchen closed and way to go, Leanne, and all of that other kind of stuff, because it helps to emphasize that little dopamine hit when we do that. It just helps to keep building the momentum that way into the things that we want. But, this natural pushback is because of the unknown. The unknown is risky, it's scary, and but we still have to look at it. It might mean that there's a little change with your friends. Maybe you're not going to get together with them. I had a coaching client who said she used to get together with her friends and have wine, and they'd get together like once a week for a happy hour. And she was like pushing back a little bit on drinking so much wine and eating all those crappy appetizers and all of that. And her friends were offended, and she just kept like, how do I deal with this? And I said, you've got to have a heart to heart and just let them know. That's what we do. We have to change things. As things change, we have to change and help people to adjust to our changes. I think this is how we see things all the way through, and help we get to the place of total understanding for everyone. So, there's another question too, and that's, what if I did nothing? Nothing is always an option. And sometimes we do this out of fear of rocking the boat, out of fear of all the change ahead. But sometimes, we get in a crisis, and there's a doctor sitting on the other side of the desk who's saying, you need to make these changes, or this is what's going to happen, right? You need to do this, or you're in trouble. So making this choice to change is no longer a choice. It's an emergency. You got to do it. And maybe everybody's not going to be really happy about it. But the power of how you make these changes and how you situate yourself with all these people that are involved in your life that are always going to have something to say, by the way. There's a lot of armchair nutritionists out there. You know that. How you do this is totally up to you. But taking back your power and saying, this is what I'm doing, and you are going to have to deal with it, is totally within your ability and totally within your right to pipe up and say something about it. And number 4 is, my darling, darling friend, what if you succeed? What if you succeed? What if we look at this stuff and start thinking? We have to start asking ourselves the questions like, can you imagine what this would be? Not in the catastrophizing way, like, oh, it'll never happen. Can you imagine how awful it would be if da-da-da-da-da? No. Can you imagine if this actually succeeded, if I did this, if I had this happen to me, if this were my thing? What if? The thing is, our imaginations are the things that spark the curiosity. Our imaginations are the things that give us the creativity to figure things out. Everything is highly figure outable. We've determined that a long time ago. Might not be the determination or the way that exactly that we want it to go, but it's figure outable. Teddy Roosevelt said, to be in the arena, face marred with dust, sweat, and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, who at best knows the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if she fails, at least fails while daring greatly. I want to be that woman. I want to be the woman in the arena doing my damnedest, trying as hard as I can with all that I have to achieve the thing that I've decided is important for my life. And I want you to be that woman too, because whether or not you're Diana Nyad, running across the water there without the benefit of a shark cage, or you are in the arena yourself, making decisions for yourself. The fact is that we are all under the influence of something. We are under the influence of our words. We are under the influence of our own intentions. And we're also under this influence of this very ugly cloud of not being enough sometimes. And it weighs in, and maybe it's less than it was, but maybe every once in a while it touches you on the shoulder. And I want to say to you right now that you are enough, and that you do have the abilities, and that you can be and have anything it is that you want, as long as you connect the dots with the emotional whyness behind it all. Why do you want it? Why do you want it in the first place? So I want you to start, though, today with this very thing. I want you to start today with knowing you're enough, and allow your enoughness to carry the weight of all this emotional baggage, because it can. And above all that, whatever it is that you're going to fall under the influence of, fall under the influence of the thing that you love, you want, and you have good intentions to go after, because you're worth the time to do this work. And let's just be really honest here. There's work involved when it comes to something like this, when it comes to some big goal that you might have in your life. I'm going to tell you what, we're going to be getting after it hard in 2022. I don't know. Are you ready? I know you are. It's going to be quite the ride. I'm not quite ready to talk about it yet. It will be coming though. And I promise you, we're going to be going for it. How about that? Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you, by the way. And I hope you join me tomorrow for Q&A. Send your questions into support@savingdinner.com. And in the subject line, question for Leanne on Friday. Meanwhile, pinkies up. Let's do this. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Check back for new episodes. If you missed the live show, you can always watch the replay. You can find Saving Dinner on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, pinkies up.